Number of different things. I mean, we were fortunate to win that game. Tristan obviously made a great play, and there were some spurts where I thought we played really well, but there was also some peaks and valleys that we need to, the analogy we used with our guys was we either get an A or an F, there's no C. So we need to figure out when things aren't going well how to get a C and not an F. And I thought we talked about it, the best defensive possession we had of the game was the last one where we kept the ball in front of us and finally rebounded the ball. And those are definitely some things that we need to clean up before we get ready for Old Dominion.
Coach Brandon Johnson almost at happy on the rebound. Let's talk about his effort and then maybe just the team effort as well.
His effort was terrific, and that's something. I mean, if I had $1 for every time we've talked about rebounding and those things, we've got to get. That's the biggest thing we need to get clean. Our first shot defense is good. It's our second shot and the opportunities we give up offensive rebounds that we've got to get corrected quickly.
And that was his first start of the season?
Yes.
Correct? Was
Yes.
that part of the reason?
He's been playing pretty well, and their matchups were a little unconventional. Those kids are really, 3 and 4 men. They're really 2 or 3 men that are 3 or 4 and 5 men. So we try to play a little bit smaller so we could do some things defensively.
RJ played a lot more in the second half. Was that a strategy thing, or is that something you
Well, we were also down a perimeter guy. JJ couldn't go again in the second half, so when we played small, we inserted RJ a little bit more, and we didn't have JJ, so that's probably he picked up some of those minutes probably also.
Late in the game, it really looked like you could see almost the team was turning to Tristan. It seems like everyone trusts him, and he's kind of welcoming that leadership role, and obviously a huge shot at the end. And talk about how much more of a focal point he's becoming with the offense and becoming more comfortable.
Well, I think he's feeling comfortable. I think he's got a knack to score, but I think the other thing that was impressive, he just missed a free throw. I mean, his confidence didn't waver. He got downhill. It was a really tough shot. I mean, but he got downhill. Had the confidence to shoot it. It was, like we said, just after he'd come off missing a free throw, and which he's a terrific free throw shooter, and jumps up, makes the shot, and we were fortunate.
Brandon Suggs, big night for him, career high. Your thoughts on his play and one of your leaders on the team this year.
Brandon did some good things. He's usually better defensively, but we gave up so many. I mean, we talked about those guys cutting against the dribble, and those are things we got to get cleaned up. Brandon did some really good things. Got some laps. I thought our first half offense was good. I thought the ball was moving. I thought we had a lot of one-more passes. I thought the ball swung around. I thought in the second half we got a little stagnant. They started switching more. They kept switching defenses, and we didn't get the ball slinging around like we need to.
How does that half-court offense kind of find itself when they are switching? Is that just kind of recognizing what they're doing, or is it just?
We knew what they were doing. It's a little bit different because that's not the way we play. So you have to get a little bit of a feel. And we also missed. I don't know what the total is. We missed 5 layups in the first half. We probably missed about the equivalent or more in the second half, where we had balls at the rim that we've got to finish. And when you're giving up layups and not making layups, that's a recipe for disaster also.
Is it I know you probably wanted to win the game more comfortably, but to be in the situation of late game, have a guy make a game-winning shot, is that a good situation to draw from?
Well, in a bad way, we've had a ton of late game situations. I mean, Oklahoma, we had to play a ton of late game situations. Obviously, even Davidson, it's a 2-point game where you're getting to play, and those are things that you can't. You can simulate, but you can't simulate. You could put score on the clock and say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then the ball gets going, and sometimes you can't control it. But I do think that's one, like you talked about. Last time we called a timeout, they changed their defense, so we just figured we'd make a play and see if we can get downhill, and Tristan made a heck of a shot.
JJ, is he just banged up?
He hurt his knee yesterday in practice, and I tell you the truth, we weren't expecting him to play. He was out this morning. He tried to warm up, felt a little bit better, and then after he warmed up, he didn't feel good.
Is there any update on Winston too at this point?
We're waiting on the second opinion, so hopefully we'll have some news this week.
Gotcha.
All set.
All right.
Thanks, guys.